It's the Newcastle Knights at home to the West Tigers. West Tigers about to hit the park here at Marathon Stadium. So far undefeated after 2 short games. Their history of this new franchise led out by that controversial skipper in Jared McCracken, who does a great job for the West Tigers in the back row. Their fullback is Joel Kane. John Carlaw and Ken McGuinness comes onto that right wing with John Hopewate on the injured list. That also brings Matt Sears on as a replacement into this side, his debut for season 2000. Coached, of course, by Wayne Pearce. Big day for this young man, 21 years of age, Owen Craigie, back at Marathon Stadium, back against his old club.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does line up. There was some talk that he might move to 5'8". Kevin McGuinness move into the centre position. The reasoning for that, as you can see, Craigie a lot more bulky and could handle the inside ball from the Johns boys.
5'8", all centre. He does plenty of damage wherever he plays on the park. Scored a great individual try last week. The Newcastle Knights are just getting those final instructions from their skipper in Anthony Butterfield with the taping around the head, the big number 8. 34 years of age, Butterfield. Played for the Newcastle Knights in their very first game way back in 1988. It seems a long, long time ago. And Butterfield is still there, the last of the originals. We talk about team, the Newcastle Knights do a great job right across the paddock. Ben Kennedy, as you can see, just about to leave the room, the major off-season acquisition for the Newcastle Knights. They've won 15 of the last 20 matches at home. They have lost just 1 of their last 10 matches at this very ground. To the cheers of this very big crowd that have gathered on this Sunday afternoon in Newcastle, Butterfield leads out the talented Newcastle Knights. Robbie O'Davis is still on the injured list. The fullback position is taken by Adam McDougall, who scored 2 tries last week. In the halves, Matthew Johns and Andrew Johns, and that big, powerful forward pack. Butterfield, Badiris, Fairley, Shields, Kennedy and Billy Pete in the back row. McDougall certainly a player to watch.
Certainly is. Had a magnificent game last week against the Melbourne Storm here. Very destructive when bringing the ball back, and also in the opposition's up around the red zone in that last 20-metre zone. Very hard to stop. Must be very committed when you go in on Adam McDougall. Very strong from the hips down.
I touched on that. 2 tries against Melbourne last weekend at this ground. 17 hit-ups also. The referee today, Mr. Tim Mander.
Yep, we're ready to roll. Yes, I can, but nice and loud when that crowd gets going.
As he touched on, big crowd in here at Marathon. Referees find it very hard to hear. Also the players with their calls. Mander says time on. We are underway at Marathon Stadium. I would say a crowd of around 22,000 people already in at the ground. And Walker with the first touch for the Tigers. Lowry runs straight into Ben Kennedy. Butterfield comes over the top. The Tigers must make a good start against Newcastle at home. Mark Stimson made a remarkable comeback from a horrific work injury where he lost 3 toes last year. Terry Hill will play right centre. And he's missing his right winger in Hopewate. McGuinness comes onto that wing. McCracken can't get away from that tackle of Mark Hughes. Short side play by centre. That kick is a bad one. Not a good finish to that set of 6.
Yeah, a fair bit of zigzagging there from the Tigers in the first set of 6 tackles. Only didn't even make it up to the 40-metre line. Went down the short side with a kick from dummy half from Darren Senna. Good chase there from Hughes. Ball out on the full. Newcastle on the attack.
Fairley he really made his mark. He came into the starting 13 last week against Melbourne. For his new club, he started on the interchange bench in round 1 against the Eagles. Ben Kennedy stepping off that right boot and making good ground. So the Tigers under enormous pressure early. Matthew Johns, nice inside ball. They're just 5 metres away from that try line. Peden plays it back slowly. Andrew Johns, nice quick ball. Butterfield, great hands. Shields the offload. It went forward off Kennedy.
The signs are there, though, Terry. Defensively, Balmain at the moment. There's only been one set of 6, but they missed 2 tackles on the fringe there. Drop-offs and Ben Kennedy stepping off his right foot through Shane Walker. They're going to have to tighten that up.
Well, the most important thing here is to be able to tackle one-on-one against the Newcastle Knights. They've got so many players with the ability to offload the football, and they play on either side of the ruck. That was evident there. Field with the scrum feed now.
The Tigers, round 3, their first game away from home. Of course, they've got the 2 home grounds, Leichhardt and also Campbelltown. It's a lot tougher at Marathon. That's Tyron Smith. Smith's played the 7 test matches for New Zealand. Darren Centre scored a great try last week. Craig Field kicks into open space. McDougall, the chase must be good from the Tigers. They come up, there's 4 Tigers there. McDougall, one-on-one, gets around McGuinness. Just 10 short of the halfway line.
A call from the Tigers there that McDougall lost the football. Good tackle there from Tyron Smith, and Walker involved too.
Fairly. He was in spectacular form last week. First penalty of the game goes to the Newcastle Knights.
I was wondering how long before Tim Mander was going to stamp his authority on the first couple of sets there. I think he was losing a bit of patience. He was screaming and yelling. I think he should act a bit more like he did on this occasion and penalise him, get him off the play the ball.
Butterfield. Now Fairley, the props working in tandem. And he's fitting into this Newcastle Knights side very quickly, David Fairley. Shane Walker lucky to get away with that, a second push. Johns. Nice ball for Shields. That's a knock on from Gidley. It's gone back to Albert.
Well, that be in the Tigers' match plan too. That's the second time they've been under pressure, the Newcastle Knights. Good defence there from the Tigers coming up and in, putting pressure on. That time it was Hughes who came up with a mistake.
You've got to weather the early storm at Marathon. Otherwise, a very long afternoon and night. And with a kick-off at 6 p.m. because of the heat, we'll get a little bit of both. Field. That's John Carlo.
Well done.
Stimson. Ben Kennedy came out of the line very quickly. He's eager. Short side play from centre. The Tigers have done a good start to this season. 1 win and 1 draw. They've got the 3 competition points so far. Smith, 10 short of the halfway. This is Craig Field. McGuinness. McCracken back on the inside. Field, short side, kicks. This is a good kick from Craig Field. It's just about perfect, just too big.
That was better play there from the Tigers. If you notice, Jared McCracken was out in the centres. A little bit more option there for the Tigers. He ran an inside play, put a little bit of pressure on the defence coming across. Have someone right next to him so he can offload there. He's a dangerous player, McCracken.
He's the trump card for the Tigers in attack. Shields. Solid defence there from Smith, and they're just hanging on too long.
Well, this is the second time Balmain defensively have come up with a penalty within the set of 6. It's relieving the pressure. It's not what you want when you come to play at Marathon Stadium or anywhere away. You want to start strongly, and you don't want to come up and give them easy yardage by giving free kicks away.
It's not only the free kick, Phil, it's the 50 metres that you get from the kick downfield, and then the set of 6. The Tigers are doing it tough getting out of their own end at the moment.
Well, it just relieves the pressure, doesn't it, for the Knights?
Fairly charging up over the top of Jason Lowry. Lowry picks himself up, gets back into the defensive line. Andrew Johns back on the inside. Bill Peden. How often have we seen that? Badiris, one-handed pick up, and he picks up 10 metres. Good gain. The Tigers well and truly on the back foot now. The Knights. Matthew, chance wide out. Shields as it reaches out with those big long arms, slams it down. The Knights, they strike first and they strike quickly.
Well, you notice what they did. They worked in the middle of the park. That's where their strengths are. The time before they come to the left-hand side of the field. This time they go back to the right. Look at their formation. Johns goes to the line, and it's Big Shields on Craigie. He just gives him the how you go and just pushes him straight off. And there's no cover coming across there for the Tigers. It was only a matter of time before the Knights did open the scoring.
There we go. It was, as Blocker said, it was back to the middle of the field there, but what they did, they got a quick play of the ball, which then gave them more time with the ball in hand. They went at the defensive line of Balmain, which wasn't set. Craigie came out, got a little bit flat-footed instead of driving the shoulder in underneath Shields, which you need to do. It's a good first-up try for Newcastle, but it all came from mistakes from Balmain defensively, coming up with 2 penalties.
No doubt about that, Phil, and this guy is underrated, Peter Shields. He's been to a number of clubs, but now enjoying his time back with the Newcastle Knights.
Let's not take away from the scoot from dummy half from Danny Badiris neither. He gained them 12 metres there. The quick play of the ball, as Phil Blake mentioned, and they just went to the fringe through a big man on a little man, just pushed him straight off, and the Knights over for the first try.
8 from 13 for the season for Andrew Johns. 5 from 7 last week against the Melbourne Storm. Strikes this one. He likes it, the crowd like it, the flags are in the air. They lead by 6 points to 0 Newcastle. Great start.
Now we have the scoop from Badiris, Andrew Johns to his brother Matthew. There they are on the slide. Just wasn't committed, probably Owen Craigie on that occasion. You'll learn from that. But Peter Shields, big, strong, good fend, gets over the line. It's a good start for the Knights.
And the bonus 2 points also from Andrew Johns. It's been a nervous start by the Tigers. Obviously, they are very keen to try and get up quickly on the Newcastle Knights and also play the ball down, Blocker, but you can't give away those penalties because Newcastle will hurt.
Well, there's a borderline, isn't there? I mean, that would have been
Fine
a message going out from Wayne Pearce or the message would have drummed in their heads all week. They're trying to play the ball, take the time off the Johns brothers, as I mentioned. But you still got to be right defensively, one-on-one. That's what I mentioned, and that's how the try came. Got to be able to put them on the ground. That's been the problem so far. They allowed them to stand in the tackle.
Fairley with a full head of steam straight into Terry Hill. Maybe carrying that forearm a touch high. Ben Kennedy, second grab, took it, did well. Just keep an eye on David Fairley. Carries it high. If you get the timing wrong, it can be dangerous. Badiris again. They are lining up to take it forward for Newcastle. Shields for Fairley. Intercept Ken McGuinness. Kevin, in fact, plays it quickly. Lowry, there was no one at acting half. It's play on from Tim Mander. Ben Kennedy comes away.
The question you got to ask there, if he was square at marker.
He was never onside, I wouldn't think, Blocker.
Mander was right there, but I tend to agree with Phil Blake. Kennedy took the opportunity and it paid off fairly. So nothing going the way of the Tigers early on. That's been batted back, knocked on by Walker. So a fresh set of 6 coming up for the Newcastle Knights.
The biggest thing now for the West Tigers is not to get disenchanted. A few things haven't gone their way. Sure, they scored an early try, but don't get disenchanted. There's a lot of time left in this football game. They get a good, or they have to come up defensively strong again in this set of 6. But if they can do that, things will settle down and a tide will turn.
It was Fairley just trying to force the pass after he'd gone to the line. Not a go. There's the mistake there.
Never square.
From the referee. Well, you just take your own luck.
They have had all the ball so far, the Newcastle Knights. Craig Field over the top. Craigie went down low. Albert missed the opening game against the Eagles. Came back in spectacular fashion.
70% of the possession to Newcastle early. It's through the Tigers' mistakes so far. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at there. Fairley standing in the tackle. Takes 2 men to put him down. The quick play, the ball, they go up the short side.
Kennedy offloads, takes the tackle. In fact, he never played that ball, and he has just simply lost it.
There's a good ruling that one. A bit of a square up, I might add.
I'm sure it was.
Was there a hand in there?
Yes, there was.
So it's 1-1 at this stage.
Well, they just got to get back into this game, Balmain. They just got to consolidate here with the possession, get to the 50, get a good kick downfield, and defensively have a very good set of 6.
7 errors in the opening 10 minutes of this game. Quite warm conditions here. Very warm, in fact, but a great crowd at Marathon Stadium. When kickoff came, there was still some 1,000 people still trying to get into the ground. McGuinness. Walker pushes away from one. And the offload for centre. Picks up another 5 metres. Kennedy made the tackle over the top. Craig Field kicking out of acting half. This is a very well-placed kick, and we'll just slow the play down for the Tigers.
Be interesting to see what the touch judge...
That's a 40-20 block.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's right on the line.
I hope they pick that up.
He does kick before the line, Craig Field. It's a beautifully placed kick. There was no urgency from the Newcastle Knights players. This will be interesting.
Well, Andrew Johns has got the ball, but I don't think he's aware that it's going to be taken off him and given to Craig Field.
Well,
it's hard to tell, isn't it?
As long as they're aware of it, the Tigers.
Well, Craig Field looking over to the touch judge now.
Andrew Johns still has the ball in his hand.
This is incredible. The scrum's inside on the 19-metre mark. He's kicked it from 38 metres out.
I think in the end, a correct decision. Albert puts the step on Carlaw. Gidley so strong on that right-hand side for Newcastle. Peter Shields, who scored that try after 6 minutes for Newcastle. They lead 6-0. Big David Fairley, what about his work rate early in this game?
It's been outstanding, hasn't it? He's already hit the ball up 8 or 9 times, and he's a handful.
7th on the ladder after that bad start against the Eagles, but they will move up quickly, Newcastle.
Tigers letting them come to them a bit. He's sliding off now. Here's McDougall.
Craigie.
Hang on for grim life.
Just got the back of the jumper, didn't he? Matthew Johns to Andrew. The kick to Mander Tahu coming quickly. McGuinness, well, really had no choice there.
And a nervous start too there for McGuinness. That put the pressure right on you here at Marathon Stadium. Your first touch, you've been in First Division for a couple of weeks. And as you said, no option. Pinpoint accuracy here from Johns. He had to take the football there. Tahu right on him. I'm glad he didn't try and force the footy back on the inside.
What could he do? He could do absolutely nothing.
It was a good take in the end.
Great take, but it gives the Knights possession. Andrew Johns to his brother-in Matthew. Matthew with the step. Left young McGuinness floundering. Badiris. Parsons off the bench, his first touch. Back to the open. Andrew Johns. Kennedy. Quick hands. Glenn Grief now. Back to the centre. Away from one. Eventually tackled by Lowry. Walker came over the top to finish it. Johns, they're stacking up on that right-hand side for the Knights. Loose ball, Badiris goes back, gathers it in. Centre made the tackle.
A sigh of relief there from the Tigers.
Final tackle now. It's not over yet. Andrew Johns with the kick. It goes Craig Field. Can he get out of his own end goal? He tripped, fell over, and it'll be a goal line dropout.
The signs are there, aren't they, for the West Tigers defensively? They're struggling to match it with Newcastle, especially in the pace of the game.
They've got to get the ball.
Well, they are, but they're just suffering from defending so much. But they're just slowing. They're slow getting back to regroup.
Yeah, they're letting them come to them too, Phil. That's
exactly.
the main thing.
Yeah. On the far side there, if they executed properly, Newcastle Knights, they would have scored.
You've got to attack with your defence. You've just got so many options, haven't they, the Knights? Just a forced pass there. Beautiful pass on the inside there from Shields to Peden that could have made it dangerous. There's a dropout now from Field. Not a bad one. 50 on the fly.
Of course, it was his field goal last week that got the West Tigers home by just the 1 point against Auckland. Big Parsons winds up, driven towards the sideline. Good tackle, Terry Hill, and McGuinness was there to help out. McDougall, 2 tries last week and 17 hit-ups. 5 Origin games to his credit already, and probably more in store, I would say. Glenn Grief, hard man to pull down.
He just keeps those legs pumping, doesn't he, Grief? Perfect player off the bench. The Knights going with 4 on the bench tonight. 4 forwards.
They're a big side, aren't they?
5.
Badiris goes to Matthew Johns. The rubber kick, John Carlaw. Well positioned. That little move by the Knights not paying off. Carlaw manages to bring it back.
Well, Phil Blake hit it on the head a little bit earlier. They've been played all over, the Tigers, haven't they? But they've just got to hang in. You've got to get up the other end of the field. They haven't been in the territory of the Knights so far. There's Scandalis taking the ball forward.
Well, they can take some solace from that last 5 to 7 minutes. They had 3 to 4 sets of 6 at them defensively, and they've come up strong. They're at the 50-metre line and going with the ball with 3 tackles left.
Lowry. Field, the little chip. Joel Kane is steaming through. Kane couldn't get the bounce. Ben Kennedy did. Oh, then he pushed away from Craig Field.
Didn't he? What?
Unfortunate there for the Tigers. Great innovation there from Fields. He gave Joel Kane the nod. Ali had to get the bounce, and then that could have led to a try.
Have a look at this for a fan. Here's the chip over the top. Kane knows it's on. Unfortunate bounce. What's this? Whooshka.
Field is now back in the line. A fumble by Glenn Grief, and the Tigers have come up with the ball. 10 short of the halfway line. Georgialis is out there in 16 for the West Tigers.
The Knights can probably just see so many holes out there in the fence. They're just trying to push the pass at the moment. I'm sure that Warren Ryan will send the message out. Be patient, it'll come.
Much needed penalty for the West Tigers. It's the first time that they've been up in the opposition half where they've had the football. Look for just work to the middle and probably a movement out wide. Look for Terry Hill to get involved down here. This is where he's so dangerous.
Gidley, the offending player on that occasion for Newcastle. That's a fine kick by Craig Field, which will give the Tigers a great attacking opportunity.
Yeah, they're sore aside too when you're defending for so long against the Knights. It takes the energy out of you because they're so big and strong. Let's see what they've got left in attack now, the Tigers.
Scandalis.
Stand up!
Picks up 5 metres. Adam Nabel. Joel Kane. Great start to this season. 24 points already for Joel Kane. Craig Field. McGuinness takes on that defensive line. His combination with Terry Hill vital on that right-hand side. They go to Hill. Hill loves to use his strength from this position, but they come at him in numbers. And the crowd love it. Play on, says referee Tim Mander. Final tackle. McGuinness. Field. They've got some numbers here. The kick had to be a little bit more to that left wing of John Carlaw. Can they pin him? They did a great job. Albert gets up, goes again.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a nothing kick. It was a little bit rushed there, but in the end it was a chase that made it good. Joel Kane come up with the tackle on Albert. Then finished off by another Tiger.
Well, it doesn't take long for the momentum to shift, does it, What? They've had some good possession down in the opposition half. Newcastle came up with an error. All of a sudden, the next set of 6, Balmain threw a couple of good questions at the Newcastle defensive line, and now they've got a repeat.
Scandalis to the line, 30 away from that try line, and Mander has seen a high tackle here.
Let's just get that down, okay? Get away from that region altogether, rightio? Let's get him there.
And an early warning there for Steve Simpson, who's just come on the park.
Yeah, we're going to have the minute drink break.
Graham Boyd and his team is taking just 300 metres
into this game, and the 1 minute timeout for drinks has been called.
It's the big chief.
He'd love to be out there.
A lot of people say that the players, you can't replace them. They've done it very tough, haven't they, since that man retired. Friendly chat with the referee too. Kelvin, what's doing, Chief? We'll have to have a word to him later.
It's okay in retirement, I guess. And as you would imagine, you've got to take the points when you can against the Newcastle Knights. And Joel Kane lining this one up. 30 metres out, virtually straight in front. His kicking game was below par last week at Leichhardt. It needs to improve. They have not really got a standout goal kicker, though, have they?
Throw this one over.
He'd love to be able to throw it over.
Wayne Pearce is stuck with him. That'll give him some confidence, I'm sure.
They're up. Joel Kane had a long, anxious look at that for a long, long time. 6-2.
It actually came off the metal flag at the top. That's why they were a bit unsure, the touches, whether it went in or out.
Well, they are on the scoreboard, and that is the most important thing for the Tigers. That scoreline now reads 6 points to 2. 20 and a half minutes gone. Lowry lines up those big legs. Loves the offload, does Jason Lowry. Field. It's John Scandal. 16 tackles and 6 hit-ups last week at Leichhardt. Georgialis. It's Craigie.
Oh, he should have given that ball
He has
then.
given it, but directly to the wrong person. Glenn Grief comes back.
Bit of smart play there from George Ellis on the fringe of the ruck. He was one of the men that Phil Blake said to watch. Little catch and pass, showed his experience there. Craigie should have gave it on the outside to Carlaw. He was away, no one there.
Dearest, Rudder, Johns, flick ball, beautiful flick ball for Rudder again. In the back row now, but he played all his junior football as a halfback. Matthew Johns. Oh, great tackle by Craigie, but McDougall bounced out of that. Albert on the outside of his man into touch.
That was great cover over there wide. George Ellis again.
Yeah, certainly was. He's done two good things there for the Tigers. He created a 3-on-2, which unfortunately Owen Craigie couldn't capitalise on, and then came up with a try-saving tackle on Albert.
A little bit of indecision. There's George Ellis. A good start from him off the bench. A little bit of indecision there from Craigie defensively, one-on-one out wide. He's not going in hard enough. He's sort of hesitant.
Yeah, lacking a little bit of confidence of what happened, but the game has evolved, since he missed that tackle on Shields. But he just needs to get in there, do a couple of good things, get his confidence high again.
He's not the first bloke we'll see bounce off those legs of Adam McDougall today. So Craigie, he will be tested in the defensive lineup. There's McGuinness. Kevin plays it back for Ken. Kevin for Scandalis. Adam Naval is out there tailing up Scandalis.
He's a good kid, isn't he, Scandalis? Willing. Still only a boy. Puts his hand up.
Naval, charge down. It's not 6 to go at this stage. McGuinness might not need the extra tackles. Now it is. So they get 6 more. No need to panic for the West Tigers. Field. They'll shift it quickly to the left-hand side. Craigie, one-on-one. Gidley gets him. Need to quick play the ball. Georgialis loves the short side for Carlaw. Back to the middle of the park. Carlaw 5 metres away now. The Tigers searching for try number 1. Nabel, well-wasted tackle. Field. Badiris, Lowry, pops it over the top. Joel Kane, 1 metre away from the try line. The ball went forward. It's been called back.
Well, just a little bit of panic. They did well first after McGuinness made the break to hang on to the footy. George Ellis again involved. Field spins out of the tackle, offloads to Lowry. A little bit of a brain rush there. Not a bad option. Ball just floated forward.
Just got the feeling the tackle from Nabel, where he went from acting half, just took the momentum away from the Tigers.
Up, let go. Newcastle in 8, Tony
Now Newcastle.
You've got to capitalise when you've got a side on the rack. Here they go now.
Darren Albert has plenty of speed. Georgialis won't be able to get him. Nobody will be able to get him. Listen to the crowd. They love Albert, and Darren Albert touches down. The Newcastle Knights have scored their 2nd try. They lead by 10 points to 2.
Well, again, it was a short side raid from the Knights. They can go from their end, can't they? That's an 80-metre try. Solo effort there. Just a simple numbers game. Catch and pass. Have a look at the way they've lined up, the Tigers. Plenty of walkers there. It was Billy Peden who attracted 2 players. Craigie come in to make the tackle. There's the overlap. George Ellis done some good things, but he can't get across. Albert, he's flying.
Great work by Darren Albert. And it was just the quick hands from Gidley. And he is a speed machine. Nobody was going to catch him.
Certainly not from behind, are they? But the play was Billy Peden attracting 2. Craigie gets committed when he probably should have stayed out. That created a 2-on-1. Great hands from Gidley. Great pace from Darren Albert. And it's unfortunately there because they got back into this game at 6-2, did the West Tigers. They had a bit of field position, a bit of ball, and all of a sudden a 90-metre try.
Phil, that's the thing. You've got to have confidence on your inside man on man. Craigie didn't have the confidence then. He came in to make the tackle. That's how the overlap was created. Gidley got it on the outside to Albert, and it was shut the gate.
Well, since that miss on Shields, he's kind of been down in the confidence department, hasn't he?
It's not about to end now. They will keep asking the question. Andrew Johns. Waved away. A rare miss, but Andrew Johns not happy with that attempt. The scoreline remains 10 points to 2. We touched on this, a tremendous atmosphere, a great crowded marathon. I'd say around the 23,000 mark, and they enjoyed every moment, every metre.
He's underrated, isn't he? Billy Peden, he's the man that started that, just on the short side, catch and pass, attracted a couple of players. Gidley caught and passed straight to Albert. There's the try. Not underrated, I'd say, from Warren Ryan. Billy Peden.
Week in, week out, he'd be in the top 3 performers, I would think, Block, and has been for a long time.
Just about to say it's... Oh, spectacular take in the end. Clumsy, some may say, from Adam McDougall. Still, he held on, that's the main thing. They can attack from anywhere on the park. It came quickly at him, and he did a good job. He says he doesn't really enjoy playing in the fullback position, and he's looking forward to Robbie O'Davis coming back next week. My mail has O'Davis back for the Newcastle Knights next week. Johns, Gidley, gets away from Craigie, flicks it out the back for Johns. That was Matthew. Butterfield has it. There's nothing they can't do between them. Matthew and Andrew. Now Andrew onto the right boot. That kick was rushed. Joel Kane stands his ground, takes it well.
It's just the tempo of the game that teams struggle with against the Newcastle Knights. They just do everything so quick, and they've got options. There's McGuinness now trying his best, running across field. You won't get anywhere doing that.
Because they play such an expansive game with the ball block, and they play with so much width around the dummy half and out wide, they really test you defensively. When you start getting too wide in the defensive unit...
They'll go up the middle.
Exactly right.
Field, they'll move it to the right now with Terry Hill. Hill tries to go over Mark Hughes and did a pretty good job of doing that. He'll be called out. We'll go to Tim Mander.
Calm down. Okay, that's right. No, I don't think you did right. I think you had your arm there right and went like that. That's what I said you did. Okay.
Well, carrying that left elbow, forearm high, and I think Mander's got it just about right. He wasn't placed on report, just a penalty. And a warning, this will fire up Terry Hill. Butterfield, well, he carries centre. They are muscling up today, the Newcastle Knights. Peter Shields. Quick hands for Johns, now McDougall. Craig Field went low, McDougall skips out of another one. Back for Matthew. Peden again. Andrew, quick hands. Butterfield just lets it go to Mark Hughes. And Tyron Smith eventually gets him. They are stretching. The Tigers left, then right, then back through the middle. Johns for Gidley. Little chip kick. The Tigers didn't play at it.
They're not afraid to try things, are they, the Knights? Anything goes. They've got skillful players.
Short side play for Matthew Johns. The kick again. Knock on against the Newcastle Knights.
Well, I would say that there's a few relieved Tigers there after that.
You bet your life on it. As a defensive unit block, they probably ask more questions than any other side in the competition when they got their ball. At the moment, their confidence is high. They're getting good field position because of the errors that, or the turnovers that the West Tigers are giving them. And they ask so many questions of you. All of a sudden, they've gone from they go straight into such a good an attacking ploy that defensively you've got to be very strong.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right. I know it's easy to say, but you've got to try and dominate. You've got to try and stop their first 2 plays when they had a set of 6 tackles. Try and take some yards off them. Tigers haven't been able to do that. It's been all the Knights. The scoreboard flatters the Tigers actually at the moment.
Well, when you think of the possession and field position.
Hill again on Hughes. And Mark Hughes has come off worse for wear there. He went in, he showed courage against Hill. But Hill made sure this time he carried that arm closer to his body, but that hasn't helped Mark Hughes. He's down and he is hurting. Stimson. He picked him out, he lined him up, and he delivered.
Using that arm as a bumper bar, Terry Hill. Nothing wrong with that.
And there's Mark Hughes. Started his career as a fullback and now in the centres.
Terry giving him a gobful too, by the way.
Just as he passes.
And tell you what, the crowd here at Marathon, they don't miss much either. There's Andrew Johns. Happy with the way things are going at the moment for the Newcastle Knights, and why not?
I reckon that's the 5th time the Tigers have turned the ball over to the Knights. Just can't do that. Suicide.
Matthew Johns. McDougall gets on the outside of his man again. Got away from Joel Kane. Smith, he's still got the offload, McDougall. Gidley, another offload for Newcastle. Peter Shields loves to flick it out the back. Taking the ground. All the warning signs are there now. Slow play the ball from Shields. Johns, big cutout ball for Rudder. Rudder using his pace. Will he get there? Maybe he'll score himself. Held up eventually, I think, by Terry Hill.
He was held up for half an hour. Good run there from Rudder. Another replacement coming off the bench and having an impact. It was a good 15-metre burst. Having trouble defensively, they're going too late. The Tigers, you've got to tackle bodily. Try and put some pressure on. As Terry Hill comes in to assist to hold Rudder up. And again, the Tigers are relieved.
Probably not giving Craig Field enough credit on this occasion.
Well, as you see there, he runs up out of the line, which forces Rudder to go on his inside, but the defence wasn't there. But Field makes his second effort to get back there and hold him up.
Gidley, Albert has one. He's about to get two. The double comes up quickly. The Tigers have cracked on that left-hand side. Albert scores again, and he does it so easily.
Well, they're doing it easily. It's only a matter of time. If you keep handing the football out over to the Newcastle Knights, it's going to happen. 14 points to 2. Albert, he did it easy. Watch Carlaw here. He's got no idea defensively what to do. It's Gidley again, gets the ball on the outside. He can stop himself on a 5-cent piece. There's the arm grab. Too much pace. And why wouldn't you enjoy it?
But structurally, as you'll see here, Craigie comes up to, who's that, Gidley there, just stays there on the step on the inside. The defence should have been coming across there. It wasn't. Too easy for the Newcastle Knights. This is probably more of an indication of what's happened with this half. I thought just before that the West Tigers have done all right, actually, because when you think of the field position and the possession they've handed over, I thought 2 tries to nil is not a bad effort if they can go in at half-time like that. But now it's out to 14 points to 2, possibly 16.
Well, most important.
It's getting a little...
and there's 7 minutes remaining.
Most important 7 minutes of the game, this one. They've got to keep them out before half-time.
We thought this would be the big test for the West Tigers, and Terry Hill laying down the law.
They've just got footballers in their side, haven't they, the Knights? Good skills, they can play. They're struggling at the moment, the Tigers. Feel sorry for them.
Strikes it, and it's waved away. That scoreline could be worse for the Tigers. At the moment, it's 14 points to 2. They've scored 3 tries to 0. Matthew Johns converting just the 1 from 3. Massive crowd we've touched on. I love the rugby league. And why not? When your home side plays the razzle-dazzle rugby league that the Newcastle Knights do, fans will come through the gate. Field, a restart. This is deep. Very deep, in fact. Peden grabbed it. And now Fairley winds up, loses that ball forward, I have no doubt. They need to get on this scoreboard. They've got the 2, but they need a try.
That was
just
young Luke O'Donnell. Young Luke O'Donnell had come up with that tackle, the number 19. He's a fine player. Wayne Pearce look-alike. He's only about 19, this kid. It was a great tackle on Fairley. It's what they need. You've got to dominate in defence.
Stay in there, seconds.
Good chance coming up for the Tigers. Craig Field, short side, tries to get on the outside of Andrew Johns, who goes cartwheeling away. Ken McGuinness. O'Donnell, who forced that error. But now Newcastle coming off their line, attacking in defence. Field. Nice ball for Smith. Tyron Smith needed somebody off his left shoulder.
You came late. Wait. No, get the mark.
They'll take the 2. It's straight in front. It's a gift.
Not going for the try.
Field is looking around. regular skipper Jared McCracken is not out there. He's got a foot injury at the moment. There's Walker. An injury will be checked at half-time. George Giles. Back for Mark O'Neill. Jason Lowry. Uses the fend on Kennedy. Flicked out the back by Craig Field. Terry Hill has to go back. They move up. The crowd. He's not the most popular man at Marathon. That will only inspire Terry Hill. Centre. O'Donnell. Lowry. Runs into that shoulder of Fairley. Butterfield finishes off the tackle over the top. Open side again through Tyron Smith. Nice short ball. Walker. Back for Smith. Great play.
Well, that's where he's got to get on the fringe. He loses possession now. McDougall on the counter.
Look at him carry the ball back on the counter, McDougall. Like a runaway train. And this will be a penalty to Newcastle. So they are compounding their errors.
Phil Blake was talking about that a little bit earlier. Just giving away. Just taking the pressure valve off.
That's number 1, Adam McDougall from Mander.
Tyron Smith finally out a little bit wider of the ruck on the fringe. That's where he's going to cause some damage. Unfortunately, can't control the ball. McDougall with a powerhouse run.
There's McDougall, 3 in the tackle there. Good show of strength. He's so strong, powerfully built from the hips down, as we keep saying. And there you see the hand in the play of the ball there. Free kick.
3 minutes before the half-time break. Parsons. Missed tackles adding up for the West Tigers. 12-5, and also the penalty count. They are copping a hiding at the moment.
No, but he had his hand there. Have a look at the replay. Have a look at the replay.
Just getting a little frustrated, the West Tigers.
We will have a look at the replay, in fact.
Well, Parsons has got to be in control of the ball too. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Johns. There's Matt Parsons. Sloppy play the ball for Glenn Grief. So they're inside the 10-metre line now. Parsons hits it up. They've got to force him back now. He reaches out. He's gone awfully close. He's held up.
10-metre scrum. And feed to the Knights.
That's third tackle, so it's a scrum feed to Newcastle.
More pressure.
Another 6 tackles coming up for the Newcastle Knights. Walker got down low here, trying to hold up Parsons, and Joel Kane, they came in to help. And the upright also helped a touch. Frustrating times for coach Wayne Pearce.
Well, you'd had a bit of luck on Craigie. You'd go that side, wouldn't you? He's been beaten on 5 or 6 occasions.
They're standing deep. They've got good attacking weapons, haven't they? Matthew Johns.
Andrew, sorry.
And they go to Gidley. Gidley gets around Craigie again. Too easy for the Newcastle Knights. It's a treble, a trifecta coming up for Darren Albert. He scores 3, and it's not even half-time.
Well, we called it. Just laterally a little bit slow, isn't he? Owen Craigie, 1-on-1. They dragged all their backs out to the left-hand side here. Had 2-on-2 there. Just went across field. Craigie went across, skipped down to the tackle. Then the winger comes in and gets engaged. You see the put down to the right, no problem there. Gidley just attracting the winger and Craigie. Skipped down to the outside of him.
That was just a quick check. You'll see the green light for sure.
Too
There
easy.
it is.
Too easy.
It's just purely a deficiency in his defensive
Just can't
makeup.
Can't move across.
Well, he's going both too low, and he's setting himself too far away from Gidley. There you go. See how far away he is from Gidley? He's trying to tackle ankle. It's very hard to tackle ankles, especially when they're in motion. But this all came about. It was only 7 or 8 tackles ago that they were attacking on the Newcastle Knights line. They came up with a mistake. Then they compounded it with 2 silly penalties. When all of a sudden Parsons gets held up, we knew from the scrum they were going to go out to Balmain's left. They did that and came up with another try to Albert. That's 3 for him this evening.
Old AAA rating for Darren Albert. 3 tries.
He hasn't had to do much for his tries, really. It's only run and put the footy down. It's been the inside
The first
men.
one was a good one. Yeah.
It's been the inside men that have caused all the havoc. Gidley, a class player. I was looking forward to that clash too.
Hill having plenty to say.
You know what I'd be doing? I'd be changing the centres. Terry Hill over on that left-hand side.
They just go back to the left.
Well, they might, but Gidley wouldn't get the football, would he? Unless he changed too. You got to do something. It's a carve up at the moment.
Andrew Johns. 21 back, just 1 metre in. Waved away. So right on the stroke of half-time. The Newcastle Knights, they have absolutely dominated this contest. The opening 40 minutes. 18 points to 2. So important, stating the obvious, for the Tigers to make a good start to this second 40 minutes. Otherwise, it could be a very long night. Field with the restart. Pete in the first touch of the second half. Tyron Smith grabs him around the collar, throws him to the ground. Kennedy down that western side of the ground. Butterfield, well, he just keeps on coming and flicks it out the back for Kennedy. Slips over. Smith made the tackle. Fairley on the charge. Goes through the hands now of Andrew, now Matthew Johns, stepping back to the centre. Look for that flick ball. Final tackle for Newcastle. Andrew Johns looking for a good kick. Kicks away from Joel Kane. Kane comes across, goes into the in-goal area. McGuinness is there and will take the tackle. Joining us sideline now, assistant coach for the West Tigers, Phil Sigsworth. I guess it was a terse Wayne Pearce at the half-time break. What was said, Phil?
Yeah, well, our left side defence obviously needs addressing, and our patience with the football. We've only completed 9 out of 18, and that's been our biggest problem at the moment.
What do you do with that left side defence? Because they had an absolute picnic down that right-hand side.
Well, we've made a few positional changes. We've moved Owen Craigie into the 5'8" for the defensive side of it, and we've moved Kevin McGuinness outside him.
18-2, still a hope, mate?
Well, I like to think so. You know, we were in the game there for a bit there at 6-2, then we just lost our way. We just need to be a little bit more patient with the football, and if we do that, we'll be okay.
Phil, I know you're busy. Thanks very much for your time.
Okay then, thanks Terry, bye.
Phil Sigsworth giving us the inside knowledge there from the West Tigers room. And if they can make a good start,
I don't think
get back into this game.
I don't think it's any secret to Terry exactly what we've been talking about in the first half.
So the Tigers move it back now through centre. Field to the line, back on the inside. Stimson, but well read. Padiris, good offload from Stimson. Centre again, but finding it very hard to get that go forward. Field kicks. Well, McDougall with plenty of time. McGuinness is up there, does the chasing, makes the tackle. Spent far too much time in their own half, the Tigers, in that opening 40 minutes. They want to play the game down in this area, deep inside Newcastle territory. Kennedy back to the centre of the park.
What's going to be interesting this half is whether they release the intensity button, the Newcastle Knights, or whether or not they will go on and complete what they did with the Storm last week and have a very emphatic win. Only time will tell. They've started off quite okay. The Tigers here have defensively started quite well. Let's see what evolves over the next 40 minutes.
Johns, Andrew Johns. Oh, lost that ball. There was a little knock on. And the Tigers have come up with it.
They never had control of the football there. They come up with the ball. The Tigers making mistakes coming off their own line again. Newcastle Knights early in this match in the second half. Let's see what the Tigers can do now. Here's Tyrone Smith. He's a handful when he gets wide.
He is.
No good running right next to the play the ball.
O'Neill gives that longer ball. Scandalis. 10 metres inside Newcastle territory. Craigfield to the line. Craigie. Got away from Gidley, but only just. Lowry now winds up. That left arm still heavily strapped. The offload went horribly wrong. Joel Kane goes back quickly. They've lost 15 metres, 16 metres.
See, that's a good effort from Shields, a big number 11. It was Larry who forced the football. It went back 20 metres and Shield chased. That's enthusiasm.
Last tackle, they had to get a hurried kick away there. McGuinness did well. It finds touch, and that's about the best play they could hope for, the West Tigers.
Yeah, what they have to do is just try to quicken up the play of the ball if they can, the West Tigers. Again, they're getting dominated in the play of the ball, which then sets the Newcastle Knights defensive line. And when they're going short sides, or they think they've got overlaps, by the time they get the ball in the first or second receiver's hands, they've adjusted, and all of a sudden it's 4-on-4. And unless they come up with a one-on-one miss, they're not going to get through.
You can really tell that it's competitive in the Knights pack. Just have a look at the chase here. That's a big man on Joel Kane. Shields, that's an effort.
They spread the ball quickly, Newcastle. High tackle, McGuinness.
Ben Kennedy shouldn't come in there.
No, that's right. Stay away. Stay away.
Yeah, Mander screaming at Ben Kennedy.
Yeah, we've got it.
Choose impulse and play direct from Newcastle to Melbourne, the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Canberra or Sydney. Impulse Airlines.
Ben Kennedy.
Newcastle Knights. Our airline.
Ben Kennedy. Here, thanks, mate. Ben, I've blown the whistle. Once that happens, mate, you do nothing. Okay, that's how you get yourself in trouble, okay? Don't do that.
Well, they hit the ball for mine and then floated up towards the chin.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it. To Hughes' credit, he got to his feet. But what it has done, it's relieved a little bit of pressure for the Knights. They're 40 metres out, starting a new set.
And with Butterfield taking up the first one and Fairley the second. It's relishing the workload at Marathon. Kennedy. Light on his feet for a big man. A major off-season acquisition for Newcastle from Canberra. Andrew Johns. Johns with space. Back on the inside, McDougall. Beautiful ball. It's play on from referee Mander. 15 away from the try line now. The Tigers are struggling to get back. Shields, long ball. Peden, shorter ball. Tamana Tahu. 3 tries in 3 games to start the brand new season for Tahu.
Well, Tahu says finally the ball's come out wide to me. It's been Darren Albert down this right-hand side. It's caused all the damage. A lot of pointing there from the Tigers. McGuinness pointing. Someone's got to take the man with the football. Here's the bust here. Watch all the Tigers here. It's Johns who makes the bust. Watch the pointing. No good doing that. You've got to take the man. I thought that ball floated forward, but play on. Then they knew straight away what to do. Just watch how quickly they do it. Catch and pass. No one takes any steps. They know they've got the Tigers in trouble out wide. Great ball there from Shields. Beautiful handoff there from Peden on the Tahu, and he says finally.
He hasn't had too many touches, has he? It's been a quiet old time on that left wing. Eventually, though, they go to him, and he does the business. Tamana Tahu played just the 3 first-grade games last season for the Newcastle Knights. With Robbie O'Davis injured and Adam McDougall playing in the fullback position, Tamana Tahu got the nod from coach Warren Ryan to play on that left wing. He can't do too much more than score the 3 tries in 3 games. He's doing the job. Andrew Johns. That scoreline could be worse. 1 from 4 today. This is tough. 21 back, just half a metre in from touch. Strikes it. He's hooked it also. So that scoreline remains 22-2, 1 from 5.
There we go, after a good set play where they switched the point of the attack, made the break. Then once you do make the break down the right side, they shifted it wide to the left. To the Tigers' credit, they kept backpedaling as long as they could. Then they had to straighten up, but by that time young Tahu had received the ball and into the corner. All on the back of another penalty by the West Tigers, which is what they're going to have to cut out, especially at this end of the football field.
Butterfield. I realised they had the overlap there, but the decisions made in a split second have been correct on virtually all occasions by Newcastle today. There's Johns, Peden, back on the inside for Mark Hughes, who has stood the test from Terry Hill extremely well. Matthew Johns hits his skipper right on the chest. Gidley. McGuinness got him this time. Peter Shields, Matthew Johns.
off it.
Stimson has it. It's going to be a play on call, I think, from Mander.
Yeah, it hit the ground, didn't it? That's all I can worry about. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It'd be a Newcastle Knights feed.
Okay, he knocked it on.
Can't take a trick, West Tigers.
Well, this was a close call.
It's a funny one, this isn't. He's trying to force the football.
It just at the back there. Yeah, there was a knock on there. But if they weren't under, pressure straight away after the half-time break, all of a sudden there's a try, then they're back down here again defensively under enormous pressure.
McDougall has proved a handful, as he does every day. Ben Kennedy. Quick play the balls, they just continue to go forward. Fairley will reach out.
That's what you call laying the line, right in the middle of the post. They'll do something straight away from here.
Andrew Johns, nice ball for Shields. For Butterfield, the basketball ball for Gidley. Gidley once again on the right-hand side. They'll get another try, Newcastle. 26-2. Further damage coming up.
And we only see the end result of that. That was a David Fairley run in the middle of the ruck that really set the platform there. He laid the line right in the middle, got up with a quick play of the ball, and then it's a game of touch football. That's what they can do to you. They would have thought Johns would have went on the outside. Shields been outstanding, one off the ruck. Beautiful pass there from Butterfield. And Gidley gets over the stripe. Here's the Fairley run. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Right up the middle of the ruck. That's a great run there from David Fairley. He's done it all day.
And what they can't do here from the ensuing play is stop the football. Shield stands, offloads to Butterfield, who's lurking out wide. Quick hands onto Gidley, who strolls over. Gidley, who strolls over for a try. But again, it just seems to be all West Tigers defence, doesn't it? Like they're just defending. Since we come from half-time, all they've done is defend. And finally, it's taken its toll. This is the second try in probably as many minutes.
And a great basketball pass also from Tony Butterfield, who quickly got rid of it. On the Gidley. 26-2. Johns is on target on this occasion. He eventually gets his second of the day. 28 points to 2. The stands are full here at Marathon. They just moved it quickly to the right-hand side. They did the head count, and the numbers came up for the Newcastle Knights. Well, Butterfield was going to score himself and probably could have. But he brought Gidley into the game and into the try. Parsons for Peden. Peden gets away from Smith. Terry Hill came again.
There goes that pointing again I was telling you about.
Short side, they've stacked it back to the open. Badiris runs into his own player in Parsons.
The ball boy's going to come on and have a run in a minute.
They are lining up, you're exactly right. Glenn Grief flicks it out the back for Parsons. They are eager. Everybody wants the ball. Parsons again. Knocked down on this occasion by Lowry. Who can't be accused of not trying for the West Tigers today. Centre. The line breaks well and truly, favouring the Knights, and far too many missed tackles. 20-5. Craigie to Carlaw. Craigie will go for a run himself, the one-handed pickup, then the flick for Field, back for Joel Kane. Field, little chip, deeper in fact. The chase is on from Carlaw. Georgialis is there. Carlaw made the tackle. McDougall. Parsons.
Just got so many blokes with super strength, haven't they? Whoever the ball goes to has got the ability to make a break. There it is again. Twice as much football as the Tigers. The Knights, they're going to score against you. 28 points to 2 at the moment. 27 minutes to go. She's not over yet, the scoring.
John Skandalis looks up, finds himself with the ball. Good chance for the West Tigers. This man won't die wondering. Steve Georgialis. His experience has been good for coach Wayne Pearce. Craigie. Slow play the ball. Shows it once. Georgialis back on the inside for McGuinness. That defensive line very solid for the Newcastle Knights.
Isn't it? They go up and then they slide all together. The numbers.
Craig Field to the line for Joel Kane. He's knocked it on. So Kane was looking for his 4th try of the year. And went close. But they have been unable to mount any sustained pressure.
It's Craig Field spearing himself into a gap. The offload there. But Joel Kane really should have caught that one.
We touched on this magnificent crowd and the fans that turn out. The average home crowd last year, just under 21,000. I think they've beaten that today.
They love the footy up here.
21,304. So fantastic crowd at Marathon.
They'd get that every day of the week if they had a game here.
They get that many to training. Put a barbie on and see how many turn up.
Glenn Grief. Great support. The Knights enjoy it. Well, stripped in that tackle. And Tim Mander hasn't missed John Scandalis. In fact, Terry Hill.
That's just the Tigers, as Phil Blake had mentioned, just trying to slow the game down a little bit. It's just a frenzy at the moment, isn't it? All players putting their hand up to take the ball. Everyone wants to be involved.
Well, he had no choice, Tim Mander. Had to give it. Parsons will play a lot of minutes, I think, in this second half.
Well, he needs a bit of football, hasn't he? He hasn't had much in the first 2 rounds, and certainly he'll be looking to play his way, into the starting lineup, or just get some, field time out there, blend in with the Johns boys and the patterns of play.
Exactly, led the hit-ups for the entire league last year, did Matt Parsons. That was for the Rabbitohs. Rudder. Very good pace for a back rower, as I touched on. And all his junior rugby league as a halfback. Matthew John stepping twice off the right foot 3 times. Oh, the flick ball behind. It even surprised Badiris.
Well, the pass was too good for Badiris, wasn't it? First time we've really seen Johnsy run tonight. Matthew, that is, the 5'8", right in the middle of the ruck. Stepped off a couple of right foot steps here. Just the defence really tight at the moment for the Tigers. There's the flick pass. That was brilliant. Should be ready for that. Should expect anything when those blokes are running the ball.
I think he enjoyed it, Matthew Johns, because he had to look up at the big screen.
No push, no ball.
Went okay. Wasn't my fault.
He's probably a little upset that Badiris didn't take it, because it more than likely would have led to a try.
Would have led another highlight reel, and Terry Hill. Mark Hughes, to his credit, made a good one-on-one tackle on Hill. Well, nobody's going to win this battle, are they?
The referee was about to blow his whistle then, and then pulled it out.
Well, silly play. That was awfully close to the sideline for the West Tigers. McGuinness back to the open now, and Craig Field. That's O'Donnell. He made a very good hit on Fairley late in that opening half.
John Scandalis very busy for the Tigers, along with Joel Kane. Terry Hill's had plenty of work. Quick tap by Field.
That's Walker. They're 30 away from the try line. Yet to get across it. Adam Nabel. He'll be looking at his options from acting half. Walker. Scandalis.
They do it well, Phil, don't they? They go up 5 first every time they defend.
But you can't afford to slide from your line block. Most of the sides now play this up and then slide. Now you slide in early on because you put a lot of pressure on your inside defenders.
Well, just have a look at the difference in the defensive lines now. Here's the Tigers struggling to get back. I know they've done a lot. But just watch, it's only a couple of steps from the Tigers now, and they stop. There's no urgency there.
There's no talking. Look, to be fair, I know there's 20-odd minutes to go, but when you're behind 28-2 and you've come up here and you're on the end of a hide and you're not getting any field position, you're giving away penalties and frustration sets in. It's easy for us to up here, to call it.
Oh, that's right.
But I've been up here in situations when you've been behind by 40, and it's very hard to combat it.
Could get worse, Peterman. Hughes did a good job of regathering that and forced the ball, just that final pass. It was never on. It is 6 to go.
Very good call there by Mander. Picked it up.
Ben Kennedy.
They haven't had an ounce of luck, have they, the Tigers?
Not at all.
Johns knocked down, 6 to go again. Rudder forces the ball. McDougall, good option to go to. Adam Kieran McDougall, light on his feet. He scores another one. Well, it's just one-way traffic. The Newcastle Knights. 32-2, it's getting embarrassing.
It'll come off a mistake, isn't it? So quick, how quick they react. The Newcastle Knights. They spread the football, go to that middle again. Just watch this, comes up, comes back off a player, goes backwards from a standing start virtually. That's Rudder with the football now, a little flop back. Ball goes on the ground, the defence has got to keep coming up. Poor old Scandalis one-on-one against the fullback. McDougall, he just skips out of a tackle, puts it right under the dot.
And what they do well, they play each play on their, on their merits, and not sitting back waiting for 2 or 3 hit-ups. They're in this frame of mind like they were last week against the Storm, where every play or every time they take a tackle, it's a potential scoring opportunity. They follow each other, they get in the bounce of the ball, and it's an ominous warning for any other Sydney sides that come up here, that if they come up here, bring your footy boots, guys.
Johns from directly in front adds those extra points. 32 points to 2. We are midway through this second half. Andrew Johns in hot, humid conditions. There's the veteran skipper, Tony Butterfield. Timeout has been called for the 60-second drink break.
They're good to watch, aren't they, the Knights, when they're on fire. They get you on the rack.
Right.
And they just keep turning the screws. They don't let you off easy.
No, certainly not, and that's why they get good crowds. They play a good brand of football. They're tough and strong up front. They've got great skills in the halves, plenty of pace out wide. There's certainly a good blend of youth and experience there, and this is a side that they could keep together for 3 or 4 years. I know they've, half or a dozen of them are nearly coming up on contract, but if they can keep them, it's certainly a good side to take into the new century.
Including a couple of blokes called Andrew and Matthew Johns, who are off contract at the end of this year, so the checkbooks will be out. Albert has 3 tries, delivers that one to Steve Simpson, just 20 years of age.
He could have went home at half-time, couldn't he?
Albert, and take the paycheck.
Well, he got his 3 tries, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fairly. He probably did let Coach Warren Ryan know that at the half-time break. Slow play the ball, this one from Fairley. Walker's all over the top of him. Inside for Butterfield. Bounces away from another tackle.
I suppose one thing the Tigers can take away from this defeat is that they've done it to a lot more sides than just them.
Won't be the last big defeat up here for a side travelling up here.
They did it to the Premiers last week.
That scoreline last week against Melbourne, 38 points to 6 against the defending champs. John Carlo comes off that left wing. O'Donnell driven sideways by Ben Kennedy and Fairley.
I caught 3. You lost it. You lost it, Mark. No, but he lost the ball in the tackle. No, you just lost it, mate. He just picked it up. That's all there is to it.
Tim Mander, the call was quite clear.
Optus, the power of the Knights, the power of Optus, powerful.
Kennedy and Fairley stripped it.
I don't know how he could call 3. He was still getting, moved laterally and hadn't even gone to the ground yet. That was a bit hard done by, but he...
Against the feet it comes. Maybe some justice in this after all, and they throw it away on the first. Joel Kane dives over the top of it. Darren Albert comes up with it. Newcastle get it back anyway. That's the first tackle. Peter Shields takes it.
That sums the night up. Block, win one against the feet, then give it straight back.
Fairley.
You'd be pretty chuffed coming out of the scrum knowing you've won one against the feed, wouldn't you?
Well, that's what we wait for up here all year, isn't it? That's why we say, well, why do they have scrums? But that's why. You can win one against the feed.
In attack. Butterfield. Sean Rudder. Andrew Johns is off with Matthew, back for Billy Peden. Peden keeps it alive for Butterfield. The skipper has to go back quickly. Hit in a very, very good tackle.
That was a great effort there by Matty Sears, who just got onto the football field. Obviously wanted to show Wayne Pearce that he's still here and still think about me. The season's only young, but all I want is an opportunity. Very committed in here.
So here's Butterfield. And Sears made his first tackle of the night count.
Wait.
Craig Field. So the Tigers get possession back, and already that speed of Sears seems refreshing in the West Tigers lineup. He's got a point to prove. Big John Scandalis. 5 short of the halfway line. The Tigers still searching for their first try of the night. Walker. This man running wide, Mark O'Neill.
Hadn't had to do much tackling tonight, the Newcastle Knights. Billy Beaton, as usual, leading the way with Banderas. Hughes has had a busy job out there on Terry Hill. And there's Terry Hill with the football again, and David Fairley. He's a handful.
Craig Field ducks under a high shot, that one from Fairley. Flicks it out the back. Georgialis, Walker. Stone cold dropped it. It'll be a long trip back to Leichhardt or Campbelltown or wherever they go.
There's Terry Hill again, trying to bust. He's done his best. At least he's had a dig.
Every carry has been at full throttle.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You've got to be committed to him, otherwise he just, disperses you.
Hughes.
He wouldn't have lost any fans.
Hughes. He gets around Terry Hill. Hill will come again. Mark Hughes down the left wing. Back on the inside. Tamana Tahu. Tahu gets a double. Albert's got 3. Tahu's got 2. He's catching up the left winger. Well, Hill won't be too impressed about that. Mark Hughes has fought a great battle against Terry Hill. And Mark Hughes, look at the smile, and why not? He beat him with speed and plenty of it.
Certainly did. Stood up Terry Hill here. He's been a menace all night, Hill. He's been over the top. He's been very physical with Hughes and probably got the better of him. But this will bring a smile to young Hughes' face. Stands him up there. Kenny McGuinness did no favours there for Hill by playing in front of him defensively. Inside to Tahu, who's got his second for this evening. Good try to the Knights.
He's a good player, isn't he, Hughes? He's persistent. Hasn't said a word. He's just got on with his job. This time, he gets the better of Terry Hill, gets on his outside. He's got good speed. He's a good player, this kid. The ball on the inside. Look at the support coming from Tahu. Said, I'll have another one. Got good speed too, this kid.
And Wayne Pearce obviously doing it tough and looking for some answers, but this is hard to stop. Mander Tahu, still just 19 years of age, and life's pretty good at the moment. Leading 40 points to 2 against the West Tigers. As I mentioned, we'll pick up 2 tries tonight. That makes it 4 for the season, and if Robbie O'Davis comes back, Tahu will probably find himself on the bench. So it's a tough score when you score a double.
Certainly is, but invaluable experience to be out there with such a quality side and quality players, and to be playing so well, he'll cherish it.
McGuinness. Craig Field. Donald.
Looks a likely customer block, doesn't he? He's strong.
He's a good
defensively
kid.
Strong.
He's a good kid. A young bloke, 19. There's the ball on the inside again. Lose yardage. It's good defence there from the Knights. They just keep coming. They don't wait around after the ball goes back.
Joel Kane loses it. So more possession coming up. The crowd thought that was a little bit high from Luke O'Donnell. Referee Tim Mander disagreed. The touch judge was right on the spot, Butterfield. Picked up over 100 metres game last week, and he will do the same tonight. Centre shaping up to Butterfield. I think he should think about that. Fairley, nice long ball from David Fairley. Beautiful pass to the left-hand side. Kennedy back to the centre. Passed it like a 5/8.
Well, I think he was actually when he was a kid.
Long time ago.
Defense, don't they? Look at this. Now they attack on the inside.
Bill Peden. Final tackle for Newcastle. Matthew for Andrew, playing wider for Gidley. Back on the inside. Darren Albert. Darren Albert with that right foot step. He'll get 4 tries for the night. He's a superstar, Albert. 4 tries. And I think he has scored them all without one hand being laid on him. Fantastic effort down the right-hand side by Darren Albert.
Just have a look at the stagnated line there. That's the problem. You've got to go up as one. And this bloke, what speed he has. Poor old Larry couldn't match it with him. He beat Matty Sears. And he's praising the big fella.
We saw him do it in the grand final back in 1997.
Got a good understanding, haven't they? Gidley, a little flick ball on the inside, and Albert in for 4.
But he allows Gidley the time to either, beat his opposition on the outside. If the winger comes in, he goes down the sideline. If the winger doesn't come in and the centre comes across on the inside too hard, he then gets the ball on the inside, Albert, which creates an opportunity for him like that on that occasion.
46 points to 2. Billy Peden takes a break. There's been no Jarry McCracken out there for the West Tigers since the early minutes of this game. He has a suspected broken foot.
This is on the 6th tackle there. They move it laterally. Carlaw pushes too hard on the inside. Leaves an opportunity there for Albert to cut back on the inside, which he did there. Nice flick by Gidley. And that's number 4. There he is. Very excited. It's not often you get 4 tries in a match. Still excited. There he goes. Good on you.
This is a perfect example for a coach like Warren Ryan can rest his top players. You notice that he's taken the lock Billy Peden off the field now. Been a workaholic. There's a lost ball there from Butterfield. He won't be happy with that. Carlaw comes up with the hit. He's tackled all right, Carlaw. He's had to do plenty. Is Carlaw meeting the big front rower front on?
And that ball just squeezing out of the arms there of Tony Butterfield. Now he'll pack down
Okay, get the
for his
formation.
5,000th scrum of his career.
Yep, we're ready.
Originally from Penrith, as I mentioned, played the first ever game for the Newcastle Knights back in '88. Terry Hill, he's going to play out the full 80 minutes, Terry, as you would expect. Smith, Georgialis, Field, there's Walker. Well, I'm not quite sure what he was doing. He was waiting for a runner. Nobody came. Tyron Smith. Shields got him one-on-one. Field, nice long ball. McGuinness to his brother, who'll jump. To Mana Tahu, jumped first.
Yeah, well read there from Tahu. This has been the best display from a team all season, I'd say, in attack, the Knights. Poor old Tigers will be just waiting for the bell, and they'll get on with next week. We've seen how teams can turn around performances. Let's hope they don't lose too much confidence out of this one.
It's been a big turnaround for the Newcastle Knights since they lost that first round encounter to the Northern Eagles and looked very, very flat. They were blown out in the betting markets for season 2000. How quickly their price will come tumbling down now. Andrew Johns. Matthew Johns. Nice ball, back on the inside, McDougall again. McDougall away from one, and the offload for Hughes. Only 20 metres away.
We've got to go left.
Andrew Johns. Matthew to the line. The grubber kick, is it deep enough? McGuinness has it and comes away from his line.
A little bit of a fumble there from McGuinness. Pressure put on. They'll try and force the error now, the Knights. That's good defence there from Johns. Just it's an advantage to have a halfback who can tackle in the front line.
They've been doing far too much of this, the West Tigers. Carlaw with the error. Albert has it. Maybe he'll get 5 tries. He'll be trying hard. Parsons has had a very good game off the bench for the Newcastle Knights. Fletcher. Lowry finishes him off.
He'd be happy just to get a run, wouldn't he, Fletcher?
And lost the ball too.
Let's see if they go on the frenzy. The quick tap from Johns. They want more.
They are calling for blood.
Uh-oh.
McDougall away from the left wing. They'll keep it alive. Badiris. Shorter ball. It went backwards. In fact, it went forward. You touched on this early in the opening half. Steve Roach, but you mentioned the words feeding frenzy. If they get on top, it's been exactly that.
They just attack, don't they? Ball's gone back. That's a tough ball.
I thought it might have gone backwards also. 15 apiece, the errors. I think that'll worry Coach Warren Ryan too much.
I don't think too many teams would have beaten the Knights today. No, they've been hot. Just got options everywhere.
John Carlaw.
I will give a rap to Steve Georgiales, but I'll tell you, it's been tireless. Walker's tried hard. Larry, they just haven't been able to match them physically. Too many mistakes.
Tyron Smith trying to work in tandem with Jason Lowry. Smith got away from Matt Parsons. Centre. Back for Craig Field, the little chip. Joel Kane is chasing. Joel Kane can't get a bounce. Craig Field can. Here's a chance. John Carlaw. Georgiales is with him. He can't get it. Great tackle, Darren Albert. 4 tries and a try-saving tackle. Field. Back from O'Neill for Joel Kane.
Turnover last tackle. Kane got poleaxed by Shields. And the roll starts again.
To add further pleasure to this romp is the fact that they haven't given up a try.
It's a great regain there from Craig Field. Just watch this tackle from Albert. Just got speed. Just gets straight back up on his feet.
It's a big advantage, isn't it? It gets you in that right position.
So you see him in the test side. Come Anzac Day. Not far away.
Won't be too far away. He's had the one Origin game. He was the leading try scorer in 1998 for the Newcastle Knights, but he had a wretched year last year with injury, and they missed him dearly. This is Gidley. Albert, back for Andrew. Matthew standing very wide. Trying to create the numbers on that left-hand side, kicking. Hill goes back and takes the tackle. Lenny Beckett was the man chasing through. Sears bounces away from one and picks up a good 15 metres. And I think there's been a head clash there. Sears has cut his head. He'll go to the blood bin. And just keep an eye on him. He gets his head low.
Oh! The Tigers, Matt Sears going to the blood bin.
It didn't stop Matt Sears though, Biker. He regrouped and went again.
The Knights will take on the Canberra Raiders.
It happens.
Desperate to force his way back into this outfit.
Carlton and United makers of VB, Victoria Bitter.
And that is a bad head cut.
Proudly partnering the Newcastle Knights in
Off
season
to the blood bin he'll go. Field. Shift it for O'Neill. Mark O'Neill. Georgiales to Carlaw. He left that left wing. Georgiales can't believe his bad luck. Well, he's had plenty of luck today and it's all been bad.
There's a little flip back there from O'Neill to Field. Just in two minds there, Carlaw. Whether they come on the inside or stay out. Or else Stevie throws in the footy, he won't be happy.
He controls the short side for the West Tigers. Takes them forward. Longer ball. McDougall has one try. He's looking for two. I don't think the first man has stopped him on one occasion today. Got the blast from Coach Warren Ryan after game 1 against the Northern Eagles. Then struck back with 2 tries last week against Melbourne. And a further try tonight against the West Tigers. All that, and he's playing out of position. Glenn Grief.
Where are they going to be when Robbie O'Davis comes back?
Another option. Johns to Andrew. That went behind him. It's play on. Andrew Johns again. And the flick ball for Gidley on the toe. Carlaw gathers it in. Got around Beckett. Won't get around Banderas. So they are keen right to the dying moments.
It's always a tough play. That's great play there from Banderas. Come up with the tackle. Just keep it live in defence. Johns just plays on. They didn't play the whistle there. Little chip through from Gedley. Skills. There's Rudder comes up with the miss. Banderas doesn't miss. It's a tough thing to do too, so late in the game. The coach will recognise that effort from Banderas.
I don't think I've seen a more lopsided possession count for a long, long time, for the full length of a game. 66% of the ball has been with the Newcastle Knights. Butterfield down the short side with plenty of flair.
Trying to replay the grand final.
He'd love that. Steve Simpson needs a quick
the blind.
Oh,
Ladies are restless.
long one from Johns to Andrew. Short ball was a beauty. Fletcher it was on the far side. Andrew Johns for Matthew to the line. Got away from O'Donnell. Johns kicks. Carlaw has it. Chance, he won't get away from Albert. Albert got him easily.
Got him in 2 strides.
And at half pace.
Ring that bell, ref.
O'Neill, bad ball. McGuinness, good pace from McGuinness. Down the right, back on the inside. Chance here for Hill. Hill will get there. They'll get the first try. They've waited 78 minutes. The crowd at Marathon, they don't like it. Terry Hill enjoys it all though. He waves.
He's tried hard, hasn't he?
He has tried hard, and he deserves the try.
Okay, it's gone to the video referee for adjudication.
That ball slipped out of O'Neill's hands. Good pace shown here by McGuinness. Skips out of the tackle of Hughes. Got a busy day. That's a good ball on the inside. Terry Hill very determined. Gives a little wave to the crowd too. They give him plenty.
And now he gives some back. Great to see from Terry Hill. 21,304 fans at Marathon and none on his side. We'll see a green light, we do. 46-6. So 10 tries in this game, 9 tries going the way of Newcastle. Been a fantastic atmosphere for this game. In the twilight hours at Marathon. And the fans, they will all be back to witness more of this. Kane adds another 2. It's been a tough afternoon and night for the West Tigers. Their first away game not ending quite the way they would have hoped. 46 points to 8. 9 tries to 1. Terry Hill there with Phil Blake, and he tried for the full 80 minutes, and in the end he was rewarded for that effort with a 4-pointer after 79 minutes. There's no doubt the star of the night was Darren Albert. He's now with Phil Blake.
Thanks very much, Terry. Well, I have the man of the moment, Darren Albert, 4 tries. Congratulations on a personal level, and also as far as the night goes, a very complete performance.
Well, that's right. It was a goal we made at the start of the night to not let him in with any tries. I mean, that last 50 seconds or whatever let us down a little bit, but apart from that, our game was very sound, and I'm sure we'll go away and find a lot of good things out of that game. A few mishaps in the second half. We were dropping a lot of ball, but we still kept the scoreline and kept them tryless. So we're very pleased.
Yeah, most pleasing performance over the last 2 weeks is probably the second half performance by the Knights. They've been a bit guilty of relaxing in the second half when in commanding leads, but certainly not the case over the last 2 weeks.
Well, that's right. I mean, that first game of the year for us wasn't the best start to a season we could have hoped for, but these last 2 weeks we certainly linked the first and the second halves together, and it showed in the scoreline, and I'm sure Warren will be very pleased with us, and hopefully we had a bit of an easy week of training this week.
Matthew Gidley, mate, you want to make sure nothing happens to him throughout the season?
I hope he stays injury-free. That'd be nice for me. He certainly puts me in a lot of space, and it's something I love playing outside him, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Thanks very much for your time and congratulations on your 4 tries.
Thanks very much.
Darren Albert there, 4 tries for the night. He's a local boy from the Newcastle area, from Scone. He joined the Knights back in 1994, made a hero of himself in the grand final in 1997, and he made a hero of himself once again here at Marathon Stadium with 4 tries. That final score, 46 points to 8. After a short break, Steve Roach and myself will be back to wrap up. Is the Tigers' first loss for the season 2000. They had drawn and won their other matches. That final scoreline, 46 points to 8. Goodbye from Marathon.